my gosh, my parking ticket just got stuck to my coffee. That is humbling. Once I really like a coffee shop, I tend to stick to it and go to it every day. But I thought it would be good to venture out and just try more coffee shops in LA. There's so many places I've never been to, so I figured let's make this video, spend all our money, and try new coffees.
Red, blue, primary colors, just like you. Guys, I miss you.
To start off this video, I took Haley to my favorite LA coffee shop called Cafe de Lala. This was $6.50. This is the Cafe de Lala special. I always get this with vanilla instead of agave because they make their vanilla in-house. And it's so good. This coffee to me is a 10 out of 10 coffee. I often think about it. I wake up desiring it. I'm serious. I'm being serious.
No, I know. It just feels like you're talking about a human being.
10 out of 10 rating for me. Haley?
9 out of 10.
Okay. On to the next. That coffee was really good. The vibes are interesting in there because let me explain. Half of the setting is for the public, for us normals. The other half, you have to pay a monthly fee to use half of the workspace and be a motoring club member.
But you get to sit next to a Formula One car and all kinds of crazy, insane vehicles.
So true. So we should become members. Price? Expensive. I mooched off Linden because I didn't even want to buy one. I want La La Land.
Yeah, once you have a 10 out of 10.
I know. It was good though. It was an 8 out of 10. Solidly would come back.
I definitely would come back.
Good ratio of milk to espresso. Espresso solid. Good shot was pulled.
Yeah.
$6.50.
That's expensive. It is a fun workspace. Like if I were to come back, I would get the drink and I'd probably sit there for several hours and work.
Right.
And it's just cool vibes.
Yeah.
I like
Bonnet, should we go to La La Land?
Should we?
I want it so bad.
Why does she have a carrier with 4 drinks? Literally how?
Can't drive all this way and not get some Cafe de Lollies.
You gotta do it. I'm impressed.
Thank you. So I've made a realization about the coffee shops in LA. Most of the popular ones are right next to each other, so I'm not gonna just go to one and then not hit up the other ones. So we're gonna go to 2 or 3 today that are in the same vicinity. West Hollywood, here we go. The drink is gone. Pantry Coffee. Madhappy is a clothing store. They opened a pop-up in LA and then they made it permanent and opened a coffee shop in the back of it. It is probably the most aesthetic coffee shop I've ever been to. Chloe the barista was so nice. I got an iced cappuccino with honey and this was $6.75. Kind of pricey, but it tasted so good. The espresso was good. The milk to espresso ratio was great. It wasn't watery. It was just perfect. As you can tell, since we drank so much so quick. I will rate it a 7.5 out of 10. An 8 felt too generous, but it was solidly good. On to the next. We're literally a mile away from the next. I stood in that for you guys. Let's go. Went to Community Goods. It took 25 minutes maybe. It's so hot out today too. There's always a line there. I've been before. We've both been. It's good. Truly, I believe the line is because people want to run into Justin Bieber. I got an iced flat white with their house-made famous vanilla bean syrup. There are actual vanilla specks at the bottom, so that makes me very excited. Taste test. Oh, this was $6.50. Yeah. This espresso is so good.
It's good?
It's
pretty good.
It like goes down the pipe. This is an 8 out of 10.
But with the line, does it knock it? No.
No, because I only am doing taste.
Okay.
The rating solely is based on taste because every other factor, parking sucks. Standing in line for a freaking coffee where you can't sit inside the coffee shop sucks. The conversations you're hearing around you sucks.
The heat
sucks. But the drink is good. On to the next. today and decided to go to Blue Bottle. They have locations all around LA. And let me tell you, I personally believe Blue Bottle has had a flop era because I used to go in high school and it was so good in high school. And we got the same thing that I used to get all the time, which is the New Orleans.
Nola.
Yeah, so it's like the New Orleans iced coffee, which has chicory and then milk. And it's so bad. Like that doesn't, it tastes, I don't know.
It's not the worst coffee I've had.
It tastes like watered down iced coffee with milk in it.
That's a great description.
I guess conveniency is nice because they're all over the city, but this is like a 5 out of 10. I won't be thinking about it again. I don't want to go again. And it was like $5.75. Taste is 5 out of 10.
On to the next.
Go get 'em Tiger. There's multiple locations in LA. I just went to the Culver City one to meet up with a friend. And my review is reviewing. I gotta say, it's better than Blue Bottle and worse than Pantry. So I'm rating this a 6.75. The espresso is okay. I felt like the taste was almost too strong, where it felt a little bit bitter. And then the drink itself, I'm just not impressed. I'm underwhelmed. Space was super cute though. This was $6. It was an iced cappuccino with whole milk, and then it just really wasn't that good, so I put some simple syrup in it. I actually really like the interior of the Culver City one. It's really nice to sit in. There's no outlets, but it's perfect to catch up with people. Low-key parking is rancid, but isn't that true of everywhere in LA? On to the next. I just hung out with my friend, and so I finished my drink. I just slurped the last slurp. I went to Maru. There's 3 locations in LA. They are known for their cream top, and it's an iced Americano with cold foam on top. Oh my goodness, this drink just hit every crevice of my being. It's the perfect amount of sweetness because it's just an iced Americano, but then the cold foam is sweetened. I love Maru. Their espresso is so good. I feel like they take coffee so seriously. This was $6.50, and I would rate it a 9 out of 10. It was so good. On to the next. I got a stain on my crew neck and I'm trying to not make it freak me out. We are on the east side today, literally to get coffee, so I'm going to try to go to as many places as I can before feeling ill from how much coffee I'm consuming. First stop is this coffee shop called Camel Coffee. It's a South Korea coffee shop that blew up on TikTok, but it's the first US location. There's literally always a line. Lyndon's currently waiting in the line while I film this, which is literally so kind. Obviously, I'm part of this. Like, I would be a hypocrite to say this is so crazy and I'm obviously here doing it too, but how are you just standing in line for an hour for a coffee on a weekday? Like, for a coffee. A coffee. Why? That's so crazy. It's like, it's genuinely embarrassing. I'm gonna go do that now. I feel such high hopes that this is gonna be such an insane coffee. In that for these 2-ounce coffees.
Bry?
Order for Bry?
We got the best sellers of the matcha and coffee. Matcha's for a different video. This is their signature camel coffee.
Looks so good.
It's a little bit of milk, 2 shots of espresso, and their cream top. I'm kind of obsessed with this place. The guy was like, this was unprompted, we didn't ask. He said the reason they're so small is so that you can still taste the espresso and it doesn't get lost in the milk or anything. That's the reason I order iced cappuccinos. So they know their coffee.
They have their system. You have the milk station, that's all he does. You have people making espresso, that's all they do. Then you have the person who does the finishing touches, the toppings.
Yeah, they were so nice in there as well. Taste test. That's insane. That puts like La La Land to shame.
Oh, that's so good.
These were both $11, so $5.50 each. Obviously, it's really small, but that's pretty standard. I actually would give this a 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
There's nothing I would change about this. Oh my gosh, it's so good. Should we go to Korea? Go to the original Camel?
Should we do it?
I had a feeling this was gonna be a really good coffee, but now I have a feeling every other coffee today is going to be.
Yeah. Would you come back?
I want to say yes, but I cannot justify standing in a line for 45 minutes for this. That's crazy. On to the next. There's no parking. It can't be worth going to. We looped around literally like 3 times and I prayed and I said, God, you gave us such good parking at Camel Coffee. Please give us a spot because I didn't want to go in alone. I don't like filming alone. Then a spot opened up. I'm so overheated. We went inside. I said, what's your best-selling coffee? Or like, what's your most popular drink? She said, we just do things very basic around here. I was like, all right. So we're back to basics. They do make their own vanilla syrup. So I got an iced cappuccino with vanilla. I will say it was more of a restaurant than just a coffee shop. It kind of gave like, let's eat a meal vibes. And people working on their computer. It was giving good vibes. This is so good. God's giving us good parking and we've only had good coffee so far.
Ooh, yum.
8 out of 10. It's $5.75. So honestly, not bad. I'm not wowed to the max, but it's so good and obviously incomparable. Sorry, I got regular milk, but if you're an oat milk vanilla latte girly, this would hit
That would be
so
crazy.
hard. On to the next. Clark Street Bakery. I got just a iced black coffee. We did a lot today. I just needed a palate cleanser. You could tell a lot about a coffee shop if they make an iced coffee taste good.
It's all about the basics.
It was $5.15, which is way too expensive in my humble opinion for an iced coffee. It's very subtle. It's just a classic iced coffee. I think it's actually really good because it's not bitter at all.
Yeah, smooth. There's no wow factor.
No, it's like a 6 out of 10.
6.3.
I sat there with my friend Abby for a while. I got an iced Cubano, which is a cinnamon syrup that they make in-house. Iced cappuccino style, so just less milk than a latte. I would say it was really solid, probably a 7 out of 10. I do feel like commissary is pretty consistent, so if I know that I want a pretty good coffee, they have so many different locations around LA, I will come. So maybe I come like once a month. Not my favorite in any regards at all. I feel like I make it better at home, but it is really good. And I like that they make their own syrups in-house. And the cost was $5.75, which is obviously very standard. But yeah, on to the next. I got Yeems coffee because it has 5 stars on Yelp out of like 500 reviews, which I've actually never seen before. This is the exact same drink as my favorite drink at La La Land. It's an iced cappuccino with Vienna cream, same cream that La La Land does, and same cocoa powder on top with house-made vanilla instead of agave. That's how I substitute it. So I'm a little tripped out right now. Who copied who? I don't know. I'm gonna assume Yeems has been around longer. Taste test. This was $6.75. $6.75. I think that's how much La La Land is, so. I fear the espresso's better than La La Land. Oh my gosh, I'm giving it a 9 out of 10. It's not a 10 out of 10 because to compare the exact same drink to La La Land, since they are the exact same, I feel like Lala's is a little more cohesive, but this one is so delicious, and a 9 is so high in my opinion. Would recommend, but it's small in there. You're probably not gonna sit inside. On to the next. It's been a couple hours of this sitting because I got coffee with my friend Maggie. Verve has so many locations in LA. You can purchase their beans at like every Whole Foods or grocery store in LA. So it's very well versed as a roastery and coffee shop. It's never been my favorite, but I felt for the sake of this video, I should include it. I also felt this way about Alfred's, but I can't bring myself to spend money at Alfred's. Like, that's how much I don't enjoy it. So I did it at Verve. I got an iced cappuccino with half sweet honey. Typical order for me. It's really hard to get it wrong, but it's just not good, and I prefer my own at home. There's nothing really wrong with it, but I'm unimpressed by the espresso, and I feel like as a roastery it should really be robust, and I should really get like, whoa, this is good coffee. So I give it a 6 out of 10. Nothing special about it. It was $5.75. I wouldn't come back for the coffee, but the locations, especially the one in the arts district that I was just at, have so much space. If I'm going to work or meet with a friend, it's worth it, but in general, no. On to the next. Final stop on our coffee tour is none other than a revisit to Camel Coffee. This right here is the best coffee you will find in LA. I feel very certain and confident of that. I will say for the best workspace where you can really buckle down, there's outlets, there's a good amount of seating, bright natural light. Motoring Coffee is your place to go for that. Best catch up with a friend, I could say La La Land. Honestly, any of them. Where should I do this next? Hopefully you watch this with a big old cup of coffee in your hand. Lyndon reminded me that I didn't say love you, Pookies. I love you, Pookies.